Hi, I'm Madi Martinez. We're here to talk about Chapter 12 of The Artist's Way, Recovering a Sense of Faith. We finished the program. In this final week, we addressed the fact that creativity requires receptivity and profound trust. I had a rough week this week. I only did my pages 2 days. For my artist day, I went to Grand Rapids and I got my favorite smoothie called Purple Rain, and I went shopping. When I get the chance to buy clothes, I usually buy them online because I find it hard to find non-toxic, sustainable, natural fabric clothes in person in stores, but I went to Free People, Madewell. I wanted to go to this store called Clothing Matters in Grand Rapids. Next time I will hit that up because I really like the owner. She purchases local, non-toxic, sustainably and ethically made clothing. It's a little pricey, but I would rather invest in clothes that are not going to poison me and something that I would keep for a really long time. Oh, tummy hungry. I have not eaten. But I want to make an investment in something that I'm going to keep for a long time rather than something that is not going to last a long time that I'll probably end up getting rid of or not liking. So if I'm going to purchase something, it's going to be something that I would love, that feels like an investment into adorning myself with clothing, fabric, material that feels like it's representing who I want to be and also feels like high vibe and not poisoning me. So that's where I'm at with that. And I did get some items that I'm excited about. There was a storm on Sunday and our power went out, and that really sucked. It was very cold. We had a tiny generator. We got together around Tuesday, but then the power came back Wednesday. So that was a relief to wake up to having our power back. That was quite miserable. So I didn't go to the gym more than 2 days, I think, because, I was suffering. But I did have a first time training someone, kind of. We realized that she kind of has a similar knowledge base to me. She's only 17. I'm 32. So I met her at the gym, and I had made plans with this other friend, Morella, to train her. And then she told that girl, Dila, that I shouldn't name people, but Dila, I'm so happy to have worked out with you. I had so much fun. This was my first time training or trying to, working out with somebody, period. But she said she wanted me to train her, but she already had a good thing going. So I just watched what she was doing and I observed her form and I worked out with her. So it went well, but I was nervous about it. But that's one of the days I went to the gym, and then the other day was for my personal training appointment. If you care about this at all, I feel like now I'm rambling. But I also subbed Wednesday through Friday a Spanish class, a high school Spanish class, my favorite kids. And we watched Selena Quintanilla, a Mexican-American pop star who was murdered 30 years ago. And I grew up listening to her music and being inspired by her story because her dad had a vision for what his children could create, and he made it a reality. He taught them how to play music, and they formed a little band, and then they traveled the world together as a family with the youngest daughter, Selena, as the lead singer, and she became a beloved star. She won a Grammy before she died. And she shines so bright that someone wanted to take her life away from her. And I get chills every time I think about that movie or watch that movie because it's so beautiful. Jennifer Lopez really delivers an incredible performance as Selena, and I watched that movie 5 times this week. Oh, my husband's calling me. I'll answer it in a second. I love that film, and it makes me sad that she died. And I also feel sad because I want to be like Selena, and I want to sing and make music and feel like a star. And I grew up loving her, and every day that passes that I'm not making music, I feel so sad. But my husband and I have been doing covers, and they're on my channel, so you can watch them there. I'm really not sure how much progress I have made this round of The Artist's Way. I've never spoken this much to camera. And I feel like I have built skills, but I also feel like I've been very rigid with this. Like, I need the same lights. I need to do it in the same spot. I need to have the same format, which is good, I guess, for consistency. And I don't know if that's just my perfectionism or if that's okay for me to just have a preference. But maybe it's both. But I'm trying not to be so self-punishing. I guess I won't know how much I have grown from this documentation and also from doing the program again until I look back later. But I also haven't been doing very well with everything that's happening politically. I feel ashamed of how long it has taken me to take action, but I'm trying to be kind to myself because it's not easy when you grow up in America, in this world, period, to feel like you can express yourself freely. And I have all these aspirations and a vision of what I want my life to look like, but it feels so grand and big and large and overwhelming that I find it hard to break it apart and then focus on the small aspects that would build it, because it just feels like I feel like I have a hard time focusing. But I have talked about this with my counselor, and she suggested envisioning or physically putting the list or the whole vision in a drawer, and when I'm focusing on one aspect of it, so that I can give that my full attention and actually be able to build the grander vision with those smaller aspects that I've focused on, rather than feeling overwhelmed and paralyzed by it, paralyzed by perfectionism and needing everything to be just right before I can even start. I heard someone say in a video yesterday, the only destination is death. And what I take from that is I will never arrive anywhere. I will always be a work in progress. It's about the process of becoming. And punishing yourself for not fully being everything is unnecessary cruelty, because you will always be becoming. And that feeling of arrival can feel exhausting, or feel that need for arrival can feel exhausting, or it can feel liberating. There's no final version to arrive at. There's never going to be a perfect self. So we can stop pressuring ourselves. You're allowed to try, you're allowed to mess up, you're allowed to learn, and you're allowed to shift course forever. Being a work in progress means that you're alive and you're curious and you're capable of change and you're not stuck. So we're here to witness our own unfolding, to feel, to move, to grow, and break and heal over and over and over and over and over again. And we can set our intentions and we can take actions in the direction of where we want to go, but we also have to surrender to the fact that we will never arrive, because when we feel like we have reached a place, there will always be something after that. Because life is about tension and release and expanding and contracting, and so is art. The first section of the chapter is called Trusting. Creativity requires faith. Faith requires that we relinquish control. This is frightening, and we resist it. Our resistance to our creativity is a form of self-destruction. We throw roadblocks on our own path in order to maintain an illusion of control. Depression, like anger and anxiety, is resistance, and it creates dis-ease. This manifests itself as sluggishness, confusion, I don't know. Each of us has an inner dream that we can unfold if we will just have the courage to admit what it is, and the faith to trust our own admission. The admitting is often very difficult. A clearing affirmation can often open the channel, such as, I trust my own inner guide, or I know the things I know. The universe will always support affirmative action. Our truest dream for ourselves is always God's will for us. The late, great mythologist Joseph Campbell wrote, "Follow your bliss and doors will open where there were no doors before." It is an inner commitment to be true to ourselves and follow our dreams that triggers the support of the universe. If we look back at the times when the world seemed to be capricious and an untrustworthy place, we see that we were ourselves ambivalent and conflicted in our goals and behaviors. Once we trigger an internal yes by affirming our truest goals and desires, the universe mirrors that yes and expands it. By trusting, we learn to trust. So where do you see yourself throwing up roadblocks? What illusions of control do you cling to that might be stifling your creativity? Have you ever felt that dis-ease when resisting your own creative impulses? Depression, I am definitely familiar with, and I struggle with that sluggishness that she described. The second section of the chapter is called Mystery. Creativity, like human life itself, begins in darkness. We need to acknowledge this. All too often we think only in terms of light. It is true that insights may come to us in flashes. It is true that some of these flashes may be blinding. It is, however, also true that such bright ideas are preceded by a gestation period that is interior, murky, and completely necessary. We speak often about ideas as brain children. What we do not realize is that brain children, like all babies, should not be dragged from the creative womb prematurely. Ideas form in the dark inner cave of consciousness. They form in drips and drops, not by squared off building blocks. We must learn to wait for an idea to hatch. Or, to use a gardening image, we must learn to not pull our ideas up by the roots to see if they are growing. All too often we try to push, pull, outline, and control our ideas instead of letting them grow organically. The creative process is a process of surrender, not control. All too often, when we say we want to be creative, we mean that we want to be able to be productive. Now, to be creative is to be productive, but by cooperating with the creative process, not forcing it. As creative channels, we need to trust the darkness. Hatching an idea is a lot like baking bread. An idea needs to rise. If you poke at it too much in the beginning, if you keep checking on it, it will never rise. A loaf of bread or cake baking must stay for a good long time in the darkness and safety of the oven. Open that oven too soon and the bread collapses, or the cake gets a hold in the middle because all the steam has rushed out of it. I don't know what that was supposed to say. I copied it from the book. Creativity requires a respectful reticence. The truth is that this is how to raise the best ideas. Let them grow in dark and mystery. Let them form on the roof of our consciousness. Let them hit the page in droplets. Trusting this slow and seemingly random drip, we will be startled one day by the flash of, oh, that's it. It's easy to feel ready to abandon something because it hasn't taken shape fast enough. And it's hard to allow time for ideas to incubate because you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time or being self-indulgent. We must surrender to that process. This is where that control comes in. Can we live in the mystery of the ideas that are forming and not try to rush clarity or force productivity? We have to allow ourselves to exist in the frustration and confusion and uncertainty and not try to control everything. We have to accept that everything is a work in progress, and it's the small inspired steps every day that are going to move us in that right direction of that grander vision. And then one day we will have arrived. And then there will always be something after that to arrive to, because there's never really truly an arrival. Next section, the imagination at play. Spiritual benefits accompany the practice of a hobby. There is a release into humidity that comes from doing something by rote, such as humility. There is a release into humility that comes from doing something by rote, such as gardening or sewing. As we serve our hobby, we are freed from our ego's demands and allowed the experience of merging with a greater source. This conscious contact frequently affords us the perspectives needed to solve vexing personal and creative conundrums. It is a paradox of creative recovery that we must get serious about taking ourselves lightly. We must work at learning to play. Creativity must be freed from narrow parameters. As we write our morning pages, our dreams, our memories, and creative plans all move to the surface. Restive in our lives, we yearn for more, we wish, we chafe, we sing in the car, slam down the phone, make lists, clear closets, sort through shelves. We want to do something, but we think it needs to be the right something, by which we mean something important. We are what's important, and the something that we do can be something festive, but small. Dead plants go, mismatched socks bite the dust. We are stung by loss, bitten by hope. This one's a little poem. Right, working with our morning pages anew and gaudy, life takes form. Who bought that azalea? Why the sudden taste in pink? Is this picture you've tacked up a you're going toward? Your shoes feel worn. You throw them out. There's a garage sale coming and you are playing host. You buy a first edition, splurge on new sheets. A friend worries once too often about what's come over you, and you take your first vacation in years. The clock is ticking and you're hearing the beat. You stop by a museum shop, sign your name on a scuba diving sheet, and commit yourself to Saturday mornings in the deep end. You're either losing your mind or gaining your soul. Life is meant to be an artist date. That's why we were created. This poetic section of chapter 12 touches me deeply because we should be prioritizing fun, prioritizing beauty, prioritizing what feels good and right for us, and not what we think we are expected to care about that would be important. Not what our idea of what it means to be an adult would care about, but following the path of what we genuinely feel to be right within our soul for us. Next section, escape velocity. In this section, Julia talks about how she and her friend Michelle believe that when we are about to make a big move in life, before we are able to blast off and escape velocity, a test is drawn to us to make us doubt and question if we are really meant to make that move, if we are really ready to change. As recovering creatives, many of us find that every time our career heats up, we reach for our nearest wet blanket. We blurt out our enthusiasm to our most skeptical friend. In fact, we call them up, if they don't call us. This is the test. Our artist is a child and our inner youngster, and when they are scared, mommy is what's called for. Unfortunately, many of us have wet blanket mommies and a whole army of wet blanket surrogate mommies, those friends who have our second, third, and fourth thoughts for us. The trick is to not let them be that way. Zip the lip, button up, keep a lid on it, don't give away the gold. Always remember, the first rule of magic is self-containment. You must hold your intention within yourself, stoking it with power. Only then will you be able to manifest what you desire. In order to achieve escape velocity, we must learn to keep our own counsel, to move silently among doubters, to voice our plans only among our allies, and to name the allies accurately. Make a list. Those friends who will support me, make another list. Those friends who won't. Name your WBs for what they are, wet blankets. Wrap yourself in something else, dry ones, fluffy heated towels. Do not indulge or tolerate anyone who throws cold water in your direction. Forget good intentions. Forget they didn't mean it. Remember to count your blessings and your toes. Escape velocity requires the sword of steely intention and the shield of self-determination. Yeah. That's it for the sections, and now we have tasks. First task, write down any resistance, anger, fears you have about going from here. We all have them. I said, I'm scared of all this meaning nothing. I'm scared of always being stuck. I'm scared of making things and being bad at it. I'm scared of rejection. I'm angry that I ever felt stuck in the first place. I'm angry that our culture is so full of shame. I'm angry that I didn't grow up somewhere more progressive, more free. I'm angry that I didn't grow up with more money or opportunities. I'm angry that my ancestors didn't. I'm afraid of what might come out when I really surrender and let myself try. And I'm scared that it won't be good. Next task. Take a look at your current areas of procrastination. What are the payoffs in your waiting? Locate the hidden fears. Do a list on paper. I said, I procrastinate in creating because I don't feel good enough. I am avoiding discomfort of facing myself and being challenged. I am protecting myself from failure and success. I am maintaining an illusion of control. I get dopamine from doing easier things. I avoid an identity crisis by not having to redefine who I am when I start something new. I can stay perfect and I don't have to face the unknown, which feels scary. Next task. Sneak a peek at week 1 core negative beliefs. Laugh. Yes, those nasty critters are still there. Note your progress. Read yourself the affirmations on pages 36 and 37. Write some affirmations about your continued creativity as you end the course. I won't share that one. Mend any mending is the next task. Repot any pinched or languished plants. She says, select a God jar. A what? A jar, a box, a vase, container. Something to put your fears, resentments, your hopes, your dreams, your worries into. I read this, I was like, whatever, but I will try it. Use your God jar. Start with your fear list from task 1 above. When worried, remind yourself it's in the jar. God's got it. Then take the next action. I'll try it out later. Now check how. Honestly, what would you most like to create? Open-minded, what oddball paths would you dare to try? Willing, what appearances are you willing to shed to pursue your dream? It's vulnerable for me to share. I want to make music. I want to learn about movement. I want to be a movement practitioner or teacher. I want to be all-knowing. I want to know about the world, about social issues. I want to be a space holder. I want to help people. I want to write songs. I want to write screenplays. I want to write stories. I recently, this week, discovered that I have an interest in writing erotica because I saw a Skillshare video about how to do that, and that sounds really fun. So I want to write stories, and I want to build a house. I want to build a garden. I want to build an unconventional life where nobody can tell me what to do. I want to make my own money. I don't make enough money right now. But what is enough? I guess I want more. I want to impact the world in a positive way. I want to help build the kind of world that I would want to live in. That's pretty vague, but okay. Next task, list 5 people you can talk to about your dreams and with whom you feel supported to dream and plan. I wrote some people down, but I won't share them. Reread this book. Share it with a friend. Remember that the miracle is one artist sharing with another. Trust God, trust yourself. That's it. That's the program. I'm going to rewatch these videos and I'm going to do the program again. So this coming week I'm starting, I guess either week 0 or week 1. I guess I don't know yet, but I will keep posting, and I'm wishing you well on your journey. I hope that everything has gone well for you. Hope that you're feeling like you've grown from this experience, and that you start creating, or that you are creating. You're in the process of creating. So if you've gotten something out of this program with me, please give me a like and a follow. A subscription, and leave me a comment, please. I would love to read your words. Please. All right, take care of yourself. Bye.